And Leyland, 5 Live traffic here. We are in the sky above Donaldson. This is I-40 and Donaldson Pike, which is still closed this morning, and it's causing a huge problem. This is after a fatal pedestrian-involved crash right here at the Donaldson Pike overpass. You can see from this shot from the air that people are actually being diverted off at Donaldson Pike and then right back on I-40 at the Donaldson Pike on-ramp. However, this is still causing a huge issue, even though the closure is very small. Now, our alternate route generally is going to be Levin and Pike in this instance because of the major backup pushing all the way past Old Hickory Boulevard on I-40 westbound. However, Levin and Pike is really starting to back up as well. Elm Hill Pike will be another option for folks, but this is going to be a day you definitely, if you come in from Wilson County or the Hermitage area, you need to leave very early and take a look and plan your route before you do. Blake Rosnowski joins us from the ground. She has been getting updates from police all morning long. Blake, do police know exactly why this woman was out of her car?
Well, Rebecca, that's exactly what they're trying to figure out. What we do know is that her husband was also here on scene. He was here when police got here after those multiple 911 calls. But what exactly their car was doing on the side of the road, they're not sure. They actually have just pulled up with some public works incident response vehicles. It looks like they are doing the last bits of cleanup here on the highway. This happened, though, all the way back at about 2:45 this morning. That's when they got those several 911 calls from multiple witnesses saying they saw a woman get hit by multiple vehicles here on I-40 West, right past the exit to get on to Donaldson Pike. At this point, though, police are not sure whether or not this is a suspicious incident or just an absolutely horrific accident that happened early this morning. We did see that vehicle that was supposed to be both hers and her husband's on scene for a very long time this morning. That is no longer the case, and it does look like things should be opening up rather shortly. We'll hopefully get some updates, and we'll make sure to post those on newschannel5.com. Rebecca, as you said, major issues, but hopefully we'll see some relief in the next few minutes or so.
Blake, thank you. There was more interstate trouble overnight. I-40 East was shut down in Dixon after a vehicle overturned. One of our viewers sent us this video taken last night. Eastbound lanes were shut down for several hours, and we're still working to get more information from the THP about what happened. And happening today, of course, we will soon know if the multi-billion-dollar mass transit plan is approved by Nashville voters. After years of studies and countless hours campaigning, it is time for you to decide. News Channel 5 Dan Kennedy at the voting precinct in Bordeaux this morning. And Dan, I know polls just opened a couple of minutes ago. And
I'm sorry, Amy. Polls did just open a few minutes ago, and folks have already started showing up here to go inside and vote. 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. is going to be the time frame today. I've been told it's going to be busiest, of course, before work and busiest after work. Lunch break can pick up as well. But yeah, it's been busy for both sides, campaigning right up to the last minute, calling voters, knocking on doors, getting volunteers ready, and now they wait. Members of Transit for Nashville say the plan is a necessary investment in the future of a growing city. They say with more than 25 miles of light rail, additional bus service, and an underground tunnel downtown, it will help relieve traffic congestion. But on the other side of the coin, the group No Tax for Tracks argues the plan's expensive. It's centered too much around the light rail, and it will lead to tax increases that will take a toll on residents. We talked to both sides yesterday.
With this new system, there's improvements that'll happen just this fall with crosstown routes and more frequency.
You're voting on whether you're going to raise your tax to the highest sales tax in the nation for a plan that doesn't address congestion.
Early voting records have already been broken, and they are expecting a record turnout today. It's a big election. 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Are the hours for those polling places. And if you do come out to vote, bring your photo ID. Reporting live in Bordeaux, Dan Kennedy, News Channel 5.
And be sure to stick with us all through this election day. We have full coverage of the election online, and as those results come in on News Channel 5 Plus. That's going to be from 7 to 8 tonight. We're going to have an election special for you. And of course, we'll be looking at the numbers tomorrow morning right here on News Channel 5 Plus. Also News Channel 5 this morning starting at 4 a.m. We'll give you the complete final breakdown.
It has been nearly a month since Crystal Daniels was arrested in connection with the death of her son, Joe Clyde Daniels. Investigators say she was there when her husband allegedly killed the 5-year-old and hid his body. We spoke to a former inmate who was placed in a holding cell right next to Daniels.
I just kind of kept watching her and just seeing, like, what is her mindset? Like, how does she act? You know, does she act like this monster that, you know, we think that she is, or like her husband is?
Amy Rigdon Warden was booked on a misdemeanor at the time. She said she recognized Crystal Daniels immediately. She also noticed a photo of 5-year-old Joe Clyde taped right outside of Crystal's cell and says the mother's eyes kept going to it.
She leaned her head against the glass right where the picture is at. And she looked at it, and then she just kind of took her fingernail and tapped it a couple times. And then she just kind of hung her head, turned her body away.
Rigdon Warden says Crystal refused to eat and never made mention of her son. It's now going on 4 weeks since the little boy disappeared. We've learned the name of the teen who died while kayaking over the weekend on the Caney Fork River. Tyler Flannery and his father were kayaking near Betty's Island when they capsized Saturday. Neither one was wearing a life jacket. People nearby were able to help the father to shore, but Tyler was swept downstream. We're told the current was extremely strong at the time.
Fire officials say a grill is to blame for starting the 2-alarm apartment fire you see right here in Antioch. This happened Saturday on Pebble Creek Circle. The Red Cross helped people find short-term housing, but many will have to rebuild their lives from scratch. A GoFundMe campaign is set up to help those victims right now, and we have a link to that on our website, newschannel5.com. Well, hate crimes are on the rise here in the Volunteer State.
And a new report released by the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation just put out these new numbers. Hate crimes increased from 180 in 2016 to nearly 200 in 2017. Men were victims more often than women, and 80% of offenders were men. Simple assault was listed as the most reported racial bias motivated crime in 2017. Last year, we saw racial bias in the headlines after a neo-Nazi rally in Charlottesville, Virginia turned deadly. And here at home, a White Lives Matter rally was outnumbered in Shelbyville by crowds who wanted to keep the peace. And he was our nation's 7th president, and every year thousands of people visit his tomb at the Hermitage. But Andrew Jackson's final resting place is now covered up. News Channel 5's Jonquil Newland explains what happened.
Good morning. This is what visitors are used to seeing when they visit Andrew Jackson's tomb here at the Hermitage. However, after someone vandalized it overnight on Friday, it's been covered up to keep from offending anyone else. Throughout the property at the Hermitage, surveillance cameras capture visitors as they come and go. There's also security 24/7 with guards on patrol once staff members leave. Despite all that, someone managed to make it to President Andrew Jackson's tomb with a couple of spray paint cans. The stone cover of Jackson's and his wife Rachel's tombs were spray painted with red and black. So was the tomb's obelisk. The Hermitage CEO Howard Cattell says the symbols on Jackson's tomb are eerily familiar to those that have been found on Confederate monuments recently. He says this act of vandalism speaks volumes.
Whether you like him or not, he was a consequential president. And I think this speaks volumes about where our nation is right now. Politically, symbolically, socially.
The Hermitage has placed extra security around the property in case someone decides to come back. At the Hermitage, I'm Jonquil Newland, News Channel 5.
And we are ready for a win in Winnipeg. The Predators take on the Jets tonight in Game 3 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. That's up in Canada. If you can't make that trip, there's plenty to do here in Music City. At 5, you'll see food vendors, a DJ, and some tents outside on Bridgestone Plaza. At 6, the doors are going to open for the watch party in the arena for $10. You can watch the game on the big screen in there. Going to be a lot of fun things, good fans in there, and some of the proceeds go to the Predators Foundation, and the puck for that drops at 8:30. Watch to win Predators playoff tickets. You could win 2 tickets to Saturday's Game 5 here in Nashville. That is going to be the best day for a game. Let me tell you, it's going to be exciting down there. Watch Friday starting at 6 a.m. on News Channel 5 this morning. That's when we'll be giving away those tickets.